Okay. Well, hello there and welcome. This is Summit Center for Spiritual Living, where we share universal good through love. And I'm going to light our candle. This is our unique candle, which has significance. You take a look at the wax of the candle. It signifies that there's only one. I light the first wick, which represents that the kingdom of God is within you. The light of God is within you. That's the great secret of all the saints and sages. And the second secret is this. As community, we shine a much greater light, and also that we as community, we assist each other in our growth. Thank you. John, our first song, please.
Winter Wonderland. Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, so happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is a new bird. We'll sing his love song as we walk along. Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman. We'll pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. We'll face unafraid all the plans that we made. Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman. We'll pretend that he's a circus clown. We'll have lots of fun with our snowman till the other children knock him down. Winter time can be thrilling till your nose gets a chillin'. We'll frolic and play in the Eskimo way. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland.
Thank you, John. That was really wonderful. For those of you who are keeping count here, from Santa, from NORAD Santa, we have 9 days, 17 hours, 22 minutes, and 12 seconds till Christmas.
12 seconds. Could we be more precise?
It's because he loves tracking Santa on NORAD.
Uh-huh.
That's like his favorite thing to do at Christmas time.
Yes, well, John, we have to keep Santa safe, with all the, so they go ahead
or something, right?
What now?
You want him and the reindeer to run into a satellite?
Well, no, we don't want the reindeer to trigger bad stuff. So, yeah. All right. So, today our speaker is Tim, and wonderful message from him today. Always a great speaker, and so then next week we'll have our annual holiday concert with both John and Tim, and then I will end the year with a letting go ceremony. So we will let go of 2025 to embrace 2026. So our reading today, for all of our Jewish friends, happy Hanukkah as we begin Hanukkah today. The reading from Science of Mind 365, it says, "There is a subtle power within me, the essence of spirit." From the book of Amos, it says, "For lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind, and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness, that treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The Lord, the God of hosts, is his name." And from Raja Yoga, we read, "The Atman, the real self, is permanent, eternal, and therefore exists itself." Ernest Holmes' commentary says that the prophet Amos tells us that the God of hosts is the name of the power that forms the mountains, creates the wind, and declares its presence in the sanctuary of our own thought. This poetic description of spirit brings a sense of lightness, of peace, of transcendent joy. Amos seems to have lifted the load of life in his declaration that the spirit treads upon the high places of the earth. This transcendent thought of God should ever be with us, and like Jesus, we should be able to walk over the waves of human disturbance rather than being submerged by them. Our lesson today tells us that the Atman, which is the real self, is eternal and permanent. And here in the text swings into the profound observation that spirit itself exists within itself. Life does not depend upon something outside of itself, but immediately precipitates itself into our experience when we recognize it. It is this divine recognition that gives us transcendent power, and we may rely upon this great law, for it is absolute. "Look unto me, and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth." So let's pray with Ernest Holmes. "There is a subtle power within me. The essence is spirit. I am sustained, I am guided, I am guarded, I am kept in the way of peace, prosperity, and joy. Every atom of my very being is vibrant with life, alive with the deathless self-existence. There is something within me today that sings a celestial song which exalts. This song finds its echo in everything that I do, causing the deaf to hear, the blind to see, and awakens the paralysis of fear into life and action." Science of Mind 365 for the 15th for today. John, go ahead.
And as we take in a deep breath and just release and relax and just let go. And let's take in another deep breath. And as we release and relax, just allow the chair to support you or wherever you are. And Take in one more great big deep breath. And really let it go, allowing all the tension of your body out. And as you breathe in love, and exhale peace. So just think of that every time you breathe in. You're breathing in love, and you're exhaling peace. For there truly is only one mind, one power, one joy, one peace, one love. For that one is Spirit or God, mind, the all that is. That is not only love and peace and joy, it's also light and life and power and beauty, wisdom, wholeness, completeness, perfection, prosperity, and abundance. And as we recognize that, we realize that we are also one with all that God is, one with beauty and power and joy and peace and love. For God created all there is, which means that God created us, myself and everybody else. And that because of this, we are all one with Spirit, one with all that God is, one with everything that God is. We're just individually on a smaller scale. But as we gather together, we become a bigger force. And we can make changes, not only for our lives in any way that we want, just by recognizing Spirit is there and knowing that it is done. So I speak my word for our Summit Center for Spiritual Living. And I speak today first off for John, for the music that he's doing, for Tim as his speaking, as the speaker, that it is, the words are God's words. Spirit's words are coming through Tim. And that anyone who hears or sees this broadcast, that they recognize and they feel Spirit within them. I also know for Tim that as he does a song later, that his song is good as well. I know for John doing the music, that the music is divinely inspired. I know for Michael and Hannah, love and peace and joy. For Deb, I know for her continued improvement in her health. I also know for Hannah's mother that as she meets her challenges, that Spirit is there, taking care of her and guiding her and knowing her, telling her what to do, knowing what to do and when to do it. And that she is being whole and complete, returning back to that wholeness and completeness that she already is. So I give thanks. I give thanks for everyone that is here, for all the answered prayer. So if you think it, know it, and feel it, it's already done. Just think it, say it out loud, feel it, and believe it. Whatever it is, it's already done. So I give thanks. Give thanks one more time. And I now release my word. I know it is done. It's done in a very special way, because my word is never comes back to me void. It is always, 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 always answered in the positive, in the way I think, as long as I think in the positive. And so it is. And so I let it be. Amen.
Thank you, John. So if you all just kind of open your eyes and take a look into the camera and see the God within them, and realize that, again, that there's only one. There's only one. There's only one. All right. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker today, who, again, I found out a few weeks ago that, again, that at one time he was a licensed Science of Mind minister. So, so I will introduce him as Tim, that much away from being a minister, Morrow. He's our guest musician on a regular basis here at the Summit, and again, that just wonderful. And I know when we've had him as a speaker in the past, he's always been wonderful. So here he is, Tim Morrow.
Thank you, Reverend Michael, and that's quite a introduction to live up to. Let's see how I do here. So let's start with good morning. And yes, in spite of how many people may be defining this morning and this day, it is in fact a good morning. So if anyone in this meeting or listening to a recording of this talk at a later time might be moving through an experience that's less than good or happy or harmonious or prosperous, now is the time to remind yourself that that is not the truth of the situation. It is a real experience that you're moving through, but it's not the truth. And there's a difference. See, the truth is that we are each a perfect expression of the infinite intelligence, which we often call God. each expressing in a magnificent and unique way. Now, when you recognize this truth, that's the very instant that the experience out there is ready to be healed. Now, we're well into that time of the year that we tend to call the holiday season. Certainly, the music we've been experiencing at services here is a reflection of that. And that's when many different cultures celebrate many different winter traditions. A few weeks ago, Diana was talking about how in the Hindu, Sikh, and Jain religions, we have the festival of lights called Diwali. And of course, in the Christian, but not only in the Christian tradition, but pretty much all over the Western civilization, we have many people celebrating the Christmas season. See? And starting at sundown this evening, our Jewish brothers and sisters will begin the celebration of Hanukkah, which is the focus of this talk. Though it's not by any means considered the most important holiday in the Jewish tradition, all of these traditions are important when you look at where they're pointing, where they're taking you toward. And that is what? The light within you that never goes out, even when we move through a dark, we call it a dark night of the soul. And for most places on earth, the winter time tends to be darker and colder than the rest of the year. So it tends to be a symbol of that dark night. And as students of this teaching, that's the challenge we have all year round. Whenever you're moving through a dark time, so to speak, learn to move through it and be unmoved by it. And know that as you're moving back into the light, that light within you is always dissipating the darkness. Now, the story of Hanukkah is certainly about a time when an entire nation was moving through that experience and finding the light in it. I'll give you the short version of the Hanukkah story. But even with the short version, we have to go all the way back to Alexander the Great, who died at a very young age back in 323 BC, but not before conquering a large part of the civilized world. And upon his death, his massive empire was divided among his generals. And so the Middle Eastern area of Syria and Palestine was taken over by a general by the name of Seleucus, and thus called the Seleucid Empire. Now, fast forward to the year 168 BCE, a new emperor was taking the throne of this empire by the name of Antiochus IV. His predecessor, Antiochus III, had been known as Antiochus the Great. And so this new emperor wanted his own nickname. But when your predecessor was called the Great, how do you follow that act? You know, Antiochus the Even Greater doesn't have much of a ring to it. So to fully satisfy his huge ego, he called himself Antiochus Epiphanes, which means Antiochus, who is God in your midst. And to live up to this title, he put out a decree that as I am God in your midst, I will be making all the religious rules for everyone throughout the kingdom. So everyone is expected to worship this god, Zeus, on this day, and perform that ritual for the goddess Aphrodite on that day, and so on, all to my specifications. And most people throughout the empire just went along with this program, not wanting any trouble. But there was this group in Palestine called the Hebrews, who took this matter very seriously. And they made it clear to him with no hesitation that we worship one God and one only, our God, Allah. And we worship according to his specifications, not yours. Sorry, non-negotiable. Now, this not only angered this emperor, but also thoroughly confused him, because in the Hellenistic Greek culture of which he was a part, how religious a person is determined by how many different gods they worship. A person who worships only 20 different gods is only half as religious as a person who worships 40. And a person who worships 80 different gods is twice as religious as that other person. So here were these Jews, these Hebrews, who worshipped one God and one only. As far as he was concerned, they were about as close to being atheists as you could get. And they were getting their backs up in the air about him making all the religious rules. You can see a basic cultural misunderstanding there. So the only conclusion he could come to was that they were disloyal to the empire and planning on overthrowing him. So he began bearing down hard on them, and he declared that anytime a Hebrew worship service was held, it was a crime punishable by the death penalty. And anytime a male child was circumcised, or anytime a person was even found with a copy of the Torah, those were all capital crimes punishable by death. And the more pressure he put on them to fall in line with his religious rules, the more adamant they became that we will not bow down to the demands of this pagan, heathen emperor. Now, a situation like that is always bound to come to a boiling point. And this boiling point came in a town on the outskirts of Jerusalem called Modane. Antiochus, the captain of the guards, decided to gather the whole town together to perform a pagan ritual at their local synagogue. And he had done his homework and realized that the most offensive way to desecrate the altar at the synagogue was to sacrifice a sow, a female pig, to the god Zeus. This was a double insult because female is not allowed anywhere near the altar, and a pig was considered an unclean animal. So they did this to make it clear that these people had absolutely no religious freedom. And a temple priest of that synagogue by the name of Matthias or Mattathias had had enough at this point and went up to the captain of the guard and told him, well, if it has to be this way, then let's at least get some fun out of it. So he took out his sword and sacrificed the captain of the guard at the altar. And so the altar was desecrated, and the fires of rebellion had been lit, and the revolt was on. It was led by the oldest son of Mattathias, by the name of Judas Maccabee, which means Judas the Hammerer. And upon hearing about this, Antiochus decided that the city of Jerusalem had to be destroyed, and these people needed to be cut down or even annihilated if necessary. And it seemed like it was going to work at first because the Jews had a problem. They were extremely faithful to the Mosaic law and had the Sabbath day to observe. So they could only fight 6 days a week, whereas the Seleucids could fight 7 days a week. And it's hard to win a war when you're keeping an even point for 6 days and then getting slaughtered on the seventh day while praying and meditating to the Torah. So eventually, they had to ask themselves a question that went something like, did God make the Sabbath for men or men for the Sabbath? And it was finally decided that it was not the will of Allah that his chosen people be annihilated for the sake of keeping the Sabbath day. And they started fighting 7 days a week and started winning. And so the Maccabean War, as it was called eventually, started in 168 BC and ended in 165 BC or BCE. And that's when Judas Maccabee recaptured the city of Jerusalem and reinstated the temple, and with other temple priests, reconsecrated the temple. And according to tradition, they only had enough oil to keep the lamps burning for one night, but they stayed lit for 8 days and nights. And so this is why we have the Jewish faith has the tradition of the 8-branch candelabra called the menorah, or proper term is Hanukkah. And let's just see if I can share this picture here. Sorry, I'm new at this sharing thing. Okay, can you all see this? Anyone? Is it working?
Yeah,
Okay.
we see it.
Okay. And so it actually, as you can see, it actually has 9 branches, 8 to represent the 8 days and nights that the temple lamps are said to have burned, and one in the middle called the shamash, which is used to light a new candle on each day, each of the 8 days of Hanukkah. Okay. Now let's look at the metaphysics of this. In the Middle East, whenever you see the number 8, it's a sign that something new has been completed, and the person or people written about are ready to move into something new and greater. As you probably know, the number 7 means something is complete. And so 8 means the start of the next chapter, the next experience. And in this story, they were ready to begin a time of freedom from religious oppression. So how about your own story? What freedom are you ready to begin? Anytime that any of us is moving through a trying time in which an experience is so overwhelming and feels like it's trying to be God itself, like that terrible Emperor Antiochus, that's when it's most important to remember. It is not God or even close. There's a greater power that is always ready for us to use. So daily remind yourself that whatever lesson you need to learn from the experience you're moving through, remind yourself, I embody the lesson and move into a new chapter of life, one that's greater than anything I have ever known. Embody that lesson first, and what happens in the physical world will work out fine. With all thy getting, get first understanding. That comes from the book of Proverbs in the Jewish Bible, or often called the Old Testament, about 900 years before this story took place. So I invite everyone here to let this holiday season be the start of your own newfound freedom. And let the lights that shine on a menorah or Christmas tree, or the candles and lights used in the Diwali celebration, or whatever custom you enjoy at this time of year, let that be a reminder of the light that shines within you eternally. Last week after service, we were talking about music for the Christmas service next week, and someone suggested Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And John commented, tongue-in-cheek, Rudolph may not be, liturgical enough. And yes, it's certainly a favorite for children. I remember how much my first, second, and third grade classes loved to sing the song. And those of you in my age bracket probably remember how exciting it was when the Rankin Bass Christmas special would play once a year. But that got me thinking, isn't that story all about an important aspect of what we teach at Centers for Spiritual Living? Celebrating your uniqueness and letting your inner light shine. Rudolph's inner light was his outer light, and the character of Santa Claus, jolly old Saint Nick, has always been a symbol of kindness and generosity and abundance. So by letting your inner light shine and celebrating your uniqueness, you help to spread these qualities throughout the world. If you wake up to the fact that the world is a better place because you're part of it. So as we move through the season and beyond, let's all let that be our way. And John, I guess it is liturgical enough. So it is. Thank you.
That was excellent. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you.
How wonderful. And I think that I really liked, again, adding the metaphysics and the context to the time, that I think that sometimes there's a tendency to cherry pick scripture where you just go ahead and take a verse out of the context. But again, if you take a look at the why it was written, when it was written, that what happens is it brings forth a much greater lesson. And yes, I'm always reminded at this time to first of all, I love Hanukkah. I worked on trying to get my Jewish friend to come with me and we did Hanukkah on the air 2 or 3 years ago, and unfortunately my friend was not interested. But the one thing was that is that we are to be the light. We are to be the shemesh. It's to be able to light the candles, and to know that even in the darkest times is that as the early Hebrews did, is to rely upon the God of our understanding as our support and supply. And that's exactly what they did. And what happened was again that the miracle happened, which is again that we in Science of Mind and New Thought, we know that was not really a miracle. That was just again an outworking of the law. So again, thank you, Tim, very much. Anyone else would like to comment?
Now, was that story where the Beatles got the idea for 8 days a week? No?
You'll have to ask Mr. McCartney about that.
Yeah, actually, no, they heard some old guys say that, and they said, that's a cool saying, I work 8 days a week, But no, great storytelling, Tim. That was really good.
Thank you.
And yeah, Rudolph, that's a good story too.
I totally agree as well that it was a wonderful talk, Tim. Thank you. It helped me to understand what was going on with thank you for the history lesson, basically, because that really helped me a lot to understand it. Can't get my words out today, but Thank you. Very, very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Where
I hope
did
there
the
wasn't
right-
too much dry history in there, but
When did the practice of gift giving come into Hanukkah? Like the little gifts.
Not
and
till
did
much-
anybody get a dreidel yet for this for Hanukkah? I'd like
gift
one.
giving
I'd like to play
just
with
sort of came out of, well, in the 17th and 18th century,
it. All right.
the Jewish children were saying, this is such a special time of the year for the Christian children, and it's a big nothing for us. There's just this minor ceremony we do. And so they kind of, over the generations, expanded it to include gift giving. The
So the kids
dreidel,
demanded it. I knew it. Them other kids get presents.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And the dreidel, I can't remember. That's a good question. I know it has to do with the original story, but
Oh, is that right?
yeah.
Did you ever see? I think it was John Lovitz doing. What they call him? Hanukkah. Somebody. He did a character like Santa Claus, only it was for Hanukkah, and he would come to the Jewish kids and give them a dreidel. And they'd go, "A dreidel? I got that last year."
Probably with a blue suit.
All right.
Hanukkah Harry, I think you call him. Something like that.
All right. Do we have music, Tim, or?
Oh, good point.
Play on.
Okay. I was waiting for John to pick up his guitar, but I forgot. So this is a song written by a friend of mine based on a poem by the Christian mystic Thomas Merton. It's called Love Winter. Love winter when the plant says nothing. Low silent branches touching snow. Love winter when the plant says nothing. Oh, love silently grows. Oh, oh, fire turn deep within, our heart seed has been promised your light. Fire turn deep inside, we can no longer hide our song in the night. Love winter when the plant says nothing. Low silent branches touching snow. Love winter when the plant says nothing. Oh, love silently grows. Oh, peace, come bless this madness, our tears and our gladness, as we wait for thee. Peace, bless this our growth, this time that is both our silence and song. Love winter when the plant says nothing, low silent branches touching snow. Love winter when the plant says nothing, oh love silently grows. Oh, oh, oh,
That was wonderful, Tim. Diana had to get off the call because her sister is experiencing an emergency here. So in the moment here, we know that wherever Susie is, that God is, and all is well in this moment. And it is our time for giving here. And again, if you would like to give we still have bills to pay, even though that we're online. So if you could please generously give you can go to Zelle or PayPal. sscofakron@gmail.com is our how you would do that. Or you can just send us a check to 1199 Lexington Avenue, Akron, Ohio 44310. And again, that in this time of giving is that we do this ministry here. Again, we not only support our local area, but also the world through our support of the Centers for Spiritual Living and also the ministry of New Thought Media Network. So as you take your gift in your hand, right top over left, even symbolically, just know with me that all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive is good. It is pressed down, shaken together, running forward. And again, as I give today, divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies. All that I am, all that I have, and all that I give, and all that I receive. Everything in this moment is blessed because, again, as I give, as I do a God activity, which is give, God is always giving, that I am in that deep flow of life, where as I give, so do I receive. And for that, I just give great thanks. And so it is. All right, John, some good and more good, please.
Good and more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. Unlimited, infinite good is mine. Wherever I go, I see good. Whatever I do, I feel oh so good. I'm worthy and entitled to good and more good. The crowds itself upon us, wraps itself around us. We give ourselves permission to accept more good, express more good. Good and more good is ours, and ever increasing good is ours. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
Well, as I checked the temperature has gone up 1 degree to 13 degrees. With a wind chill factor that's close to zero. Well, it's time for our announcements here. And again, that I spend most of my week on NT Media, New Thought Media Network, ntmedia.org. Again, please check out all of our great programming, including the Friday evening fireside chat, which I do, plus also all the other great programs. Also, we do have prayer twice a day, 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening, 8:15 in the morning, 8:15 in the evening Mountain Time. So that's 10:15 in the morning, 10:15 in the evening Eastern Time. So again, lots of wonderful things here. So anybody else? John, what are you doing these days?
I just keep working on all my projects, but one of them is Inspiry, which you can find at yeswise.com or at the YesWise channel on YouTube. A little brief inspirational message about once a week.
Good. And Tim, where's your music available?
Let me put that link in the chat.
Who said what?
All right. As Tim is doing that, again, thank you. Yeah, take some Tim Morrow with you this week. I think that'd be a really good thing to do. Okay, so it's our time here for the silence, and rather than having to mess with Zoom and all the different sound settings, let's take into the silence whatever, maybe there was something that Tim said or something that we heard in the music, but let's just take that deep within. Peace, be still. Just go into the silence just for a few moments. Thank you so very much. So let's know together that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us, that wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right, sing us out, John. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to share one of my songs here that we can open with next week. So this is kind of like choir rehearsal here for those that are called The Light of the Holidays. Here we come to the winter time, the season of ice and snow, a journey through months of dark and cold, as we already know. With the light of the holidays to brighten our way, we will make it through. As the love, joy, and peace of this season remind us what is true. The falling snow will soon build up as the cold winds start to blow. The shovel is ready to go to work, scraping and pushing the snow. With the light of the holidays to lighten our way, we will make it through. As the love, joy, and peace of this season remind us what is true. Sweatshirts, long johns, blankets, and socks will likely be worn all right, but a fireplace and a stack of wood would be nice on a cold, dark night. With the light of the holidays to warm our way, we will make it through. As the love, joy, and peace of this season remind us what is true. come to the winter time. Goodbye to the fall. It's nice we have the holidays as a gift for one and all. With the light of the holidays to brighten our way, we will make it through. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holy days to every single one of you. And again, thank you so very much, Hannah. You can end the stream. And again, we'll see you next week. Thank you.